Good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and I'm really excited to be back for week 3 of my 5-week Mental Health Monday series. So today I'm just going to talk about our microflora, healthy bacteria, and how it impacts our health. So I think we've all heard the terms prebiotics and probiotics at this point, but what's really going on? What does it mean to have healthy bacteria in the intestinal tract? So I'm going to keep it simple today by just keeping in mind healthy bacteria and mental health. So I'm going to sort of bypass a lot of information today just to make it really simple. So the bacteria that's in our intestinal tract plays a strong role in our mental health, in how we feel, in feelings of stress, even our anxiety, our discomfort, our lack of ability to focus, our sadness, even some of us who are living with depression. It is highly correlated with the bacteria that's in our gut. So there's about 3 pounds of bacteria in our gut. And unfortunately, most of us think of bacteria as causing illness or making us sick, but in fact, most bacteria, our healthy bacteria, actually prevents illness, prevents inflammation, and when our digestive tract is balanced with a variety of bacteria, we are healthier all around, including our mental health, especially our mental health. So then the question is, what exactly is the role of healthy bacteria in our intestinal tract in relation to mental health today, just to keep it nice and simple? So just to note that healthy bacteria is also related to actually digesting and using carbohydrates. So for some of us who have IBS, who have a hard time digesting carbohydrates, it could be related to the unhealthy bacteria in the digestive tract. So also, unhealthy bacteria is also related to SIBO, which I see a lot in my clinic for sure. So if you know anything about this or if it correlates with you, definitely let me know. So in terms of mental health, many varieties of bacteria in the gut are responsible for making neurotransmitters. These bacteria are directly or indirectly correlated with making neurotransmitters that are required for brain health. So if you want to learn a little bit more about neurotransmitters, check out the video I did last week and you're going to get a little bit more information on neurotransmitters. But we do need healthy bacteria to actually make some of those neurotransmitters. Our microflora, or healthy gut bacteria, actually also protects the intestinal barrier. So it's the barrier between the small intestine and the bloodstream. Healthy bacteria has a nice line across that barrier. So if we have super healthy bacteria, then we're less likely to have inflammation and unhealthy toxins going into our bloodstream and things that are causing inflammation. So healthy bacteria has a huge role in anti-inflammation, of course, in saying that. And inflammation is one of the main problems here in North America, why we're so sick. Healthy gut bacteria improves nutritional status as well. So as you know, or if you didn't get a chance to check my video, which you can if you'd like, the healthy bacteria improves nutritional status because there's research suggesting that we are actually more able to use the nutrients that we're getting from food when we have healthy bacteria. It actually increases the absorption of these nutrients that we're eating, such as magnesium and zinc, all really important for brain health. Healthy bacteria actually helps reduce sensation of pain, which is really important for mental health. Healthy gut bacteria, it's linked to healthier levels of omega-3 fatty acids, and that's really important for mental health. A lot of our brain weight is actually made from omega-3 fatty acids. So because there's a link between healthy gut bacteria and omega-3 fatty acid use, then that's really important as well for mental health. Healthy bacteria actually also helps us balance blood sugar levels, which is very much correlated to our mental health, the positive mental health, having healthy blood sugar balance. So what can we do to ensure that we have healthy microbiomes or healthy bacteria proliferating in our intestine? Now, first of all, it is really important to note that North Americans often have a higher number of harmful bacteria in the gut and lower levels and varieties of the healthy bacteria. That is because our diet here in North America is often high in processed foods, high in sugar, high in unhealthy fats, lower in fermented foods. lower in prebiotics, or those fibers that the healthy bacteria like to eat. And we also have a diet that's pretty low in nutrient intake, and nutrient intake is incredibly important for brain health. So without getting into too much detail, fibers are prebiotics. So fiber actually feed the healthy bacteria. Prebiotics have a positive effect on anxiety. Prebiotics have been shown to increase healthy bacteria in the gut. With taking in fibers, then we're able to actually feed healthy bacteria. They'll proliferate in the gut, and they'll create positive effects on our mental wellness. In terms of fermented foods, which are being studied really heavily these days, we do know that fermented foods actually amplify the bioavailability of nutrients in some of the foods that we're eating, in the foods that are fermented. And they're also prebiotics, so there's a lot going on there. When we receive these healthy nutrients, they are going to help our brain health as well. So a lot of the fermented foods, well, like I said, they're a source of prebiotics, but they're also allowing us to use the nutrients. So there's two things going on there. And we do know that there is a positive effect on mental health when we have a diet that's high in fermented foods. So the exact role of fermented foods is still being studied, but we do know that they definitely play a role, especially because fermented foods were heavily used in the diets of our ancestors and in some of the healthiest cultures in the world who use fermented foods. There are much lower rates of depression, and there's a lot more positive mental health in the societies that are using fermented foods in their diets. So then we also talk about probiotics. So there is a difference between fermented foods and probiotics. So just to keep that in mind, because we often interchange the two words. They are not the same thing. Probiotics are supplementation. So high quality probiotics are actually being linked to decreased levels of depression, anger, lower levels of cortisol, and probiotics are proving to increase levels of serotonin and dopamine and other healthy neurotransmitters. To keep in mind as well, there's a lot more research going on in this field, so we just need to make sure that we just keep an open mind to some of the work that's coming up about probiotics. There's still lots to be discovered about probiotic intake, but if you're going to choose a probiotic, it has to be potent. There's a lot going on with the use of probiotics. So I do have a lot of options that I recommend to clients. So if you're interested in talking more about probiotics, let me know. Especially if you don't eat a lot of fermented foods, probiotics are really important to have in the diet. So cultures that have fermented foods, again, are often healthier, and they also often have healthier mental statuses than here in Canada. So it's really important to keep in mind. Diets that have a higher fiber intake, prebiotic intake, they're also proving to have healthier mental statuses than us in Canada as well. So what do? Well, it's really important that we have a diet that's high in fermented foods as well as in raw vegetables, as there's healthy bacteria on the raw vegetables, preferably local, preferably organic. We need to reduce our sugar intake because sugar actually feeds unhealthy bacteria. We need to reduce the intake of processed foods. We need to increase the intake of fiber. So there's lots to be done. So if you're interested in chatting more about a diet that promotes positive mental health, if you're really resonating with some of the stuff that I'm saying today, contact me, comment below on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can email me, Nicole Marchand, dietitian@gmail.com. I'm really interested in helping you guys feel your best, and diet is the best way to start. So we can do a free 15-minute consultation to see how I can help you or to see what your goals are. So next week I'm going to talk about more on gut health and mental health. So let me know if you have any further questions related to anything I talked about today, and I certainly hope that you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. So Nicole from Well Halifax, and thanks again.